Hey, what's going on there, YouTube? Leonhard here, back again with another deck profile for you all. Right here, as you can see, I have my Oracle Think Tank Battle Sisters deck, except this one was a bit revised when I looked back at the Legion campaign and found out that there was a Legion for Battle Sisters, of course. Now, I knew about this for a while, but after I read the skill, I thought, nah, I'll pass it. I'll pass it off and just go Parfait Monica, maybe go Susano, mix up some stuff with Coco, but play tests with Battle Sisters have not been going too well because they lack some newer support, which I hope they get in upcoming sets. But I thought this would be fun, and I was thinking of doing this for Fallback Friday, but this is relatively new, per se, so I thought, just do a deck profile here for you guys now. And many of my friends were curious on how I'd build the deck because I play Battle Sisters traditionally, and they were all surprised that I didn't play this, so I thought, I'll give my take on this, try it for a bit. I've been playtesting it the past week, and it's not as bad as I thought it would. I mean, it is a Legion, so it helps in that way, but its skill and other things like that I wish could be a little better. They weren't so watered down, but anyway, let's get on to the deck profile. Alright, for the grade 3s, I play 4 of the Battle Sister Legion, Battle Sister Gelee, I'm not sure. They changed the name again, but yeah, the art is beautiful, of course, but it's just the skill that really kind of put me down for this deck. But the skill is when this unit is in Legion, Counterblast 3. Draw a card for each of the units with battle system name in your middle column. So if you're in Legion, that counts as 2. If you have a card boosting it, that's 3 cards, and you draw that many cards. So if you have 3 units, 2 in Vanguard Circle, 1 in the booster, you Counterblast 3, draw 3, but then you discard 1 card from your hand. The cost is pretty high, but to be able to draw 3 cards, it does not surprise me that you have to Counterblast 3. But the discard, I wish should be a little better. And then her secondary skill is when this unit attacks a Vanguard, if there's another unit in your middle column, it gets plus 3,000 power. Now, I wish they were a little more creative with the secondary skill, such as if you have 4 more cards or 5 more cards in your hand, let's say this unit gets plus maybe 4,000 power when this unit attacks. Maybe it doesn't have to have a unit in the middle column, or maybe even when it's just in Legion, have 4 more cards in the hand, get plus maybe 4 or 5,000 power when this unit attacks. But it's a very generic Legion, and it helps in that way. But skill-wise, I wish it could be a little better. But yeah, that's 4 Battle Sister Gelee. And next, move on to the other grade 3. I play 4 Battle Sister Monica, or Monaca, but however you'd like to call it. This is the Persona grade 3. I play her simply because in the early game, you know how you can't use simply Stride or Legion until your opponent is at grade 3 also. So when I'm sitting with my Limit Break Enabler and I have Monica on the field, I'd like to use her skill to gain some extra hand advantage and start stacking out the deck the best I can. There are other things you can play. I'd recommend that you play, let's say, Parfait. Don't play Fromage. Fromage is too bad. You'd have both your grade 3 be too counterblast heavy. And she's sitting at 10k base, which is not too bad. I mean, sitting at 10k base is not bad, but it's the small numbers that count. So being at 11k is more safe. But the reason as to why I play Monica is because I believe in consistency in this deck and getting off her Persona Blast if you do, and most chances I do. It helps a lot. You never use her secondary skill. Her skill in general, let me explain, is Limit Break 4, Axe skill, Counterblast 1, and Persona Blast. You look at the top 5 cards of your deck, search for 2 cards among them, and add them to your hand. You don't have to reveal them to your opponent. And then you put the rest of the 3 back to the bottom of your deck in any order that you please. And then you Counterblast 2, a special Counterblast 2, and this unit gets plus 5,000 power. You're never ever going to use the first secondary skill, but the first skill, yes. I'd recommend if you don't have Monica or you don't want to play Monica, definitely go with Parfait. Parfait is a great card to go with early game, especially on the first ride. And if you have the Limit Break Enabler and you can't Stride first, attack for Limit Break plus 4, 3, 21 by the turn 3 or 4. And if it hits, Parfait's skill is if your hand is 4 or more, when this unit attack hits a Vanguard, you draw. She gets plus 3,000 power and you draw 1 card. So it's also a very nice pressure Vanguard, but I just play Monica, to get those more cards dishing out. It doesn't have to hit, but you are reliant on getting its Persona Blast off. You can also play Battle Sister Cookie. I first started playing this deck with the Legion with Battle Sister Cookie. It's an on-ride skill, Counterblast 2, draw 2 cards, but discard 1. When I played Battle Sister before, of course we started off with Cookie from BT09, and you had to play that bad Souffle, but Souffle made some good numbers back in the day. And as much as I like her, she is sitting at that 10k base, and the discard cost is a little hefty on you, but either way I thought it was nice because it's not necessarily conditional. It's when you ride, you automatically get everything. You don't have to wait on personas or on hit skills, but that's all players' preference, and I play 4 Monica. Next, move on to the grade 2s. Play 4 of the Mate, of course. This is Battle Sister Pudding. Now, with the deck that counterblasts this much, especially a Legion that counterblasts this much, you ought to expect damage and flippers, especially other than Lemonade. Well, she is the Battle Sister damage and flip, only on rearguard circle, and its skill is when this unit attack hits a Vanguard, unflip a point of damage and give one of your Battle Sisters plus 3,000 power. So she applies 2 major threats. Not only does she unflip damage so you can draw more, but she also allows you to bump up another rearguard, which helps a ton in this deck. So it's all about that pressure, and yeah, that's pretty much it for Pudding. Now we move on to my favorite grade 2 of the deck, for Macaron and her dual pistons. I'm not really sure what weapon that is. They look like batteries, but okay. She's the 12k attacker of the deck, and of course I play the hollow ones. I mean, there are rares, but you know, the double rares look really nice. But if you have rares, nothing against you. You're still good as long as you play Monica. Next I play 3 Coquette. I originally played 3 Mocha, but the deck already has a lot of heavy hitters, especially with the grade 1s that I play, so it doesn't necessarily make too big of a deal. But Coquette's still in here because it makes the best grade 2 ride, and all that extra pressure, and of course you get that 1 free card. Its skill is when this unit attack hits a Vanguard or rearguard circle, a special counterblast 1 Battle Sister in the name. Look at the top look at the top card of your deck. If it's a Battle Sister, reveal it, add it to your hand. If it isn't, put it to the bottom of your deck. Yeah, it's just a extra card for just 1 measly counterblast, so that is not too bad. Alright, now let's move on to the grade 1s. Of course, I play 4 Battle Sister Lollipop. You want to be able to get your limit break off, especially in the early game, so limit break enablers really help. Then I play 4 Battle Sister Coca. You know, first turn ride, or you have a booster, but especially behind Macaron or the Vanguard. You know, just to be able to foresee the top card of your deck. I mean, a lot of times that you'd be able to draw, but those draws are blind. If you want to drive check, especially after the draws, let's say if you drew some triggers and you're worried that the other few cards on top of your deck might not be triggers. In most cases, they might not. But it's all by chance. You use Coca's skill just to look at the top card, put it to the bottom, or just troll your opponent, and let's say if it's a perfect guard or a grade 2 you'd want for next turn to make another column, keep it at the top of the deck, make your opponent think they should guard for more, absolutely perfect guard. It's a nice trolly card. Then 3 perfect guard, you have to play perfect guard. And I made room for the perfect guard for 3 Lemonade. This deck does not soul charge, but you can definitely rack up a lot of soul by riding Legions, especially if you do Monica over Legion or Legion over Monica. Either way, vice versa. And you'll build up massive soul in this deck. So 3 Lemonade, using all 3 Lemonade in the game, especially if you Legion them back and use them again 4 or 5 times if you need, it is not that hard to use. And this deck is extremely counterblast heavy, so you will need your damage and flippers in any way possible. So you have 2 ways of unflipping damage. Now let's move on to triggers. I play 4. 4 critical trigger, Battle Sister Ginger. 4 Psychic Bird, of course. I wish they had another Battle Sister trigger, but it really doesn't matter. This is I mean, Battle Sister's already got 2 turns of support, and they really don't need much right now. But skill is put in the soul, draw 1 card, so it's another way of building up soul for the Lemonade. And if you use Coca's skill and you combine it with Psychic Bird, let's say if it's early game and you're grade locked and you find the grade you need off top deck because of Coca, Psychic Bird, slam it in, draw that card. 4 draws, of course. I wouldn't play any other trigger. I mean, this lineup will always pretty much stay the same. It's staple. If you want to take out the draws, because this deck does draw a lot, although sometimes the skills do not always go off because, you know, chance, you can play stands or more crit. I once did 12 crit and it was absolutely brutal, but then my hand kind of blew because all the little guards I had were my grade 1s and 2s that I would need for field presence. And all my triggers were just 10k, so if I had to guard but I didn't want to get rid of, let's say, a lemonade that I needed to unflip damage with, or a pudding that I could have used to make another columns for nice attacks because it was blown up, I didn't want to drop 10ks all the time, so draws always help. And of course, 4 heal. As for my starter, I play Battle Sister Eclair. She is the grade 3 search. It's kind of obvious that I'd want to play this because I play Monica. You want to be able to get her skill off as fast as possible. Or if you just need stride fodder, or you need to dish out your Legion, or you're already Legion, you want a Legion again. Top 5 cards for grade 3. That's pretty much it. I mean, you can play Battle Sister, what is it, Waffle? Waffle's skill is Counterblast 1, put it in the soul, look at the top 3 cards you deck for a Battle Sister and call it, and that unit gets plus 2,000 power. That's an absolutely amazing starter, but I would not play that in this deck simply because you play Personas, so you'd want to be able to get those 3s. And that's pretty much it for my deck profile, guys. I hope you all enjoy. Like I said, this deck is it's just fun. It can be competitive, definitely. I've definitely played this competitively before, and it works so well. I no longer play OTT as much as I did, so I don't necessarily have strides, but when new support comes out and I want to get back into it, I definitely get some strides going on in here. But this is just a fun deck, especially one that I played quite some time ago. And yeah, I hope you all enjoy. This is Leonhard out. Peace.